Hey guys, Lovely Freeman here, and today we're playing some more HOI4 Kaiserreich mod, and today we'll be playing as the Union of Britain, or maybe the next few days, as the case may be. I had a few hours today, so I figured I might go and do this. I didn't really have anything else better to do. So I was going to play Canada for the next campaign, but someone asked for Union of Britain, so we're going to do it. As a disclaimer, though, I haven't played Union of Britain for a few patches now, and when I'm playing this is on the new 0.13 patch, so patch 13 there, and there have been some pretty significant changes to the game, particularly that would affect the strategy that I would traditionally use for Union of Britain. So I guess the first general change we can talk about is there's a division cap right now, and right now we're at 109 total divisions. That's a lot for our current situation, so I don't really predict that being a problem for us. And the reason they made that change is supposedly to reduce lag for late game campaigns, or campaigns that stall out to late game. So there's that change, and the other kind of major change now is you'll notice when you go to your diplomacy screen, and you can't justify a war goal until 50% world tension, and previously that was 25%. And that's kind of a big deal because, when we were looking through the German focus tree, I mentioned that, you might not get 50% for, that bunker focus before, Well Creek 2 fires. And that's, that's certainly the case. I mean, I think we did wind up hitting 52% on, the Germany playthrough if you go back and check, but we didn't on the France playthrough. So it's up in the air on whether or not you can even declare an early war. And, sort of on top of that, even if you did, it would be later. So sort of early game expansionist plays aren't really allowed. So before this patch, what you could do is you could stay syndicalist or you could go totalist, and you could declare war against Egypt is a good one during the Kaiser Pact War, and you could take Egypt. And then what you could do during Well Creek 2 is usually you get Tripolitania, usually they have Idris on their side of the Kaiser Pact, so you can get land here. You can get land here, and with colonial divisions, you can deploy those troops that you train in their home country, and you could leave a couple tank units in Egypt, and you could take the Suez Canal right as soon as the war starts, and then you could, of course, have your troops already stationed here to blitz and take out the French Republic, and then if you also help the CNT FAI win the war, then you would have Gibraltar and the Suez, and it's a lot easier to control the Mediterranean and then have access to resources that way without having to worry about raiding or whatnot. And you shut down this front with the International. And sometimes the AI is not great at guarding their ports, as we as we know from our Germany game. And taking out the French stops the possibility of a really unfortunate naval invasion, taking out the AI on Commune of France, which would of course be really bad for us playing as Union of Britain. And with the early war goals, you could also do other stuff too. You could sometimes Venezuela usually would join the Entente if you declared war on them. So you kind of get a 2-for-1 here. We declare war on Venezuela real early, then they join the Entente, and then what you do is you come down here, and without having to worry about the Germans, you kill the French, who are extremely weak late game. Then you come over to here, and you can take out the West Indies Federation, again pretty weak late game. Take out Venezuela, solve your oil problems for the rest of the game. And then, once you get this over here, which you can take from the West Indies Federation, you can get docking rights from the CSA, and then you could rush Canada and kill them before Well Creek 2 even starts. And then you're in a pretty strong position because you've eliminated that entire front, you've solved your oil problem, and you've got all the aluminum you could ever want too. So it's you can spam planes, and it's it's a pretty interesting campaign that you could do. You could do the Americas campaign over here, and you can do the Middle Eastern campaign over here. And and whatnot, all before Well Creek 2 even starts, and kind of you could do your strategy in different ways like that. Of course, it's all completely dead now because there's no way that you're gonna get the opportunity to do that at 50% world tension. Yeah, it's just off the table. So you're kind of stuck in this position where if you're playing as Union of Britain, there's not really a whole lot for you to do except kind of when we were playing with France. It's you're just gonna have to play SimCity for a 1939 timing attack. I think you get the option here. You can declare war against Ireland, and And let's be honest here. Ireland is like a 10 factory, you know, yeah, like they're like under 20 factory country with like pretty little manpower. It's like this, like taking Ireland doesn't really improve your position all that much. And if they side with the Canadians, you can usually, or the Reichspakt, you can usually knock them out pretty quickly, anyways, without having to go over here and waste, 28 days, 35 days, and then like like all these, you could be doing 4 different focuses. Is my point there, as opposed to something over here for a war with Ireland that you still got to go and fight. Although that is a way to get an early war if you want to grind out a general trait, like we did with Ukraine when we're playing Germany. So that's always nice to do. And of course, being at war like that, if you're going to grind them, you can get like a bunch of army experience. So it's like it's not all bad, but it's like you would much rather be justifying an early war goal, not wasting any national focus time and like grinding in Egypt or something like that, which is going to give you something of strategic value, as opposed to Ireland. So Ireland doesn't really get us, like, I mean, again, it's nice to deny the Canadians, but it doesn't really get us any closer to like any naval invasions over to hit this stuff over here, or the Entente holdings in the Caribbean. I mean, it's like pretty much right next to us. So like we could get that pretty easily anyways if they decided to join in on the war and the faction. So that's kind of a big sad from us as a Union of Britain player, that the fact that we have this giant navy of carrier planes, and we can project all this power is kind of pointless because we're just not allowed to do that because of the the war the war justification nerf there. So yeah, like again, like what you're doing is like more or less you're gonna be working towards like your 1939 timing push. You have a choice of going to war with Ireland or not, and then if you look at the like the geopolitical position for Union of Britain is like pretty much the same as Commune of France, right? So you're gonna start up. You're a revanchist power, like you're looking to spread the revolution in various ways, I guess, depending on which faction you want to go with for your role play, if you care about that. But mainly you're supporting the Commune of France in their war against the imperialist powers, right? Like you got to spread the darkness of syndicalism all over the globe, right? So your enemies again are going to be the German Empire, the Reichspakt, their friends. And if you look on the faction screen again, that's going to be Germany, the Eastern European puppets, the other Central European Austro-Hungarians, which I understand like in the Balkans especially got some love this update. So those are going to be against you. You've got the the other Italies and the various holdings. You got the legitimate British government over here in the Entente in Syrup, Britain, and you've got the French in Algeria over here, and you've got their portion of India, Australasia, and like the Reichspakt again also has German, East Asia, and Middle Africa. But like what we actually have in our like international sphere is just Britain, the French, and the Socialist Republic of Italy. So we're all kind of like right over here, and then sometimes you get something in the Caribbean, but again, like they're pretty far away, and it's like pretty difficult to support them. From where we are. So I guess we can go through our tree over here like we do every time. So we've got volunteer only in our laws. So I think that's pretty standard. Most people start in volunteer only. We get 1.5%. That's the default. It'd be nice if we started unlimited, but that's fine. Expert focus, again, I think most people start in the expert focus law. So that's again pretty default. And we do start like real cash money on partial mobilizations. We got rifles economy, so we can start building factories right away if we want to, and that actually helps our division limit cap too now with the new division limit mechanics. So like the more mobilized you are, the more divisions you're allowed to have in the field. So that's quite nice. And then our current government, and kind of just like France, the Union of Britain is going to have the first focus you do for their Congress of Trade Unions is going to like set up your government for like the rest of the game until Weltkrieg 2 is over pretty much, and you're going to make your choices there and see what you get, and that'll affect our focuses too, I believe. So we got Arthur Horner over here again, factory output, political power gains, the same guy we had as on Suckdam Germany there, so like that's pretty good. I mean, not the same guy, but the same union boss thing or whatever, right? You got Nicholas Iglesias here, political power gain, trade deal opinion factor. Again, the foreign minister's not really probably the least important of your ministers. We got Comrade Mosley here, smug bastard over here, with his resource scan efficiency of 6%. So we got some decent resources. I mean, that's okay, but I mean, probably you want something better in the slot. And Minister of Interior, we got daily political power gain and a negative 2% recruitable population factor. So probably I would prefer not to have. I probably prefer to have more population than that political power. So those are your guys, but they're going to change pretty soon. In national spirits, we've got the militia spirit, and this is another one of these mixed bag ones that you get like when we're playing France, and you'll have the opportunity to either swing this more to like a proper buff, like we reduce the negatives, increase the positives sort of deal, or you can remove it entirely, and you'll have that decision in your national focus tree. So negative 20% organization is pretty bad. Organization is one of the most important stats for your units, and that's going to determine how long you're allowed to stay in the fight. Negative 20% is that hurts a lot. Recruitable population factor 2%. That's not bad, but it's canceled out by this lady over here. Recovery rate 10%. That's also that's pretty good. And attack on core territory, defense on core territory. Like those are nice buffs, but I mean realistically, we're probably not going to want to play like a Fortress Britain game where we just hang out on your island and that's all we do all game. Like that's usually not how you're going to win. And so those I don't really relate. Unless like in some kind of scenario where like that's obviously going to be the case, like if you played two Sicilies before the the Italy rework over here, and you had to fight the entire Internationale by yourself, then that might be a good stat to have in that case, because you're going to be spending most of the game on the defense. But for a major power, I don't really rate division attack on core territory or division defense on core territory very highly as stats. And of course, planning speed minus 50%. That's that kind of sucks, but again, if you got your army set up properly, the units that are going to be using that planning speed, you can use your staff office plan pretty cheaply anyways, and that's sort of it'll carry you past that, right? So up here, political power gain, we're gaining 2.14 per day. That's quite strong, and we're getting a lot from our cabinet. But again, that's sort of like we went through that. It's kind of like all they're good for. We have 51% party popularity, which is pretty high. Like anything above 50%, I think is pretty good. My personal opinion. Average stability, pretty low war support, but we've got some focuses that should be fixed. Like, I wouldn't worry too much about that, and we're already on partial mob anyways. So as long as we're 50% before Well Creek 2, that's sort of not really an issue. Manpower is a little bit low right now. We're only on volunteer conscription law, but we only have 18 divisions in the field right now. This isn't really a large army, and to only be on 350,000 troops. It's that's a little bit concerning. Industry 70 factories, and I think like if you checked Union of Britain, I think has like 99 or 100, like close to 100 anyways. Building slots total. So and I think that's pretty close to France, and Germany's around 200. So like France plus Britain added together, if like once they've maxed out, kind of equal to German. So that's like a pretty good economy. Like that's definitely on par with France. It's a bit lower than Germany, but like I said, like the two of you together kind of team up on Germany, and they've also got to worry about the Russians. But 70 factories is a very strong count for Kaiserreich in the start. Oil, we do have 9 oil, which again we talked about when we're playing Commie France. Like having oil is much better than refineries. So 9 oil is probably worth even after all the tax is reached here, it's probably worth 4 or 5 refineries at least, I would think. Like one refinery is equal to like 1 or 2 oil, I think. I'm gonna have to go back and check that. But anyways, having oil is much better than having to rely on refinery. So we get something there. 1 oil is 48, I think, same as the base gain, and then a refinery is also 48, and we get 9. So I'm pretty sure that's correct. So that's pretty good, and after all the tech, it's gonna be pretty helpful to have. But still 9 oil is not enough to run your air force and your fleet. And if we decide to play with a lot of tanks, which we might not this time, those are gas guzzlers too. But otherwise, our stockpile is 130.3k, which is pretty low. But I believe that scales based on how large your country is. So Britain is kind of like an itty bitty country. So they don't have a whole lot of fuel storage stockpile, I guess. I think when we were playing France or Germany, we were at like 1.78 or something. So that's not a big difference. It's still not enough. And Britain is in like a much more precarious oil situation than even France. Like Britain, because we're on an island, we have absolutely no way to do overland trade. So uh, anytime you want to import oil after the war starts, you're going to be subject to convoy raiding. And because you can only import from people who have a port, like if you look at your trade for like your strategic imports, like you can get from the United States like all the way over here, and you're like, what's over here? The Canadians. What are the Canadians gonna have? Fucking submarines, probably, right? And then you're not gonna have, depending on how the CSA does over here, you might not really even have like a naval base, and you're certainly not gonna get naval bases like up around this way over here. So you're gonna have your convoys coming in blind somewhere without screens, and you can get dummied for that. So that's that always sucks. Venezuela, same problem. Oil over here. What's over here? You got the West Indies Federation. They're in the Entente. What's the Entente gonna have? Probably fucking submarines, right? And again, we might be able to get docking rights in Mexico or Central America, but we're still gonna have to like come all the way over here, and we're not gonna have any naval bases. And we might be able to take something off Portugal over here, which if you were gonna do oil imports from this area, you would definitely want to do is try and take some of these bases off the Entente powers and try and get better like escort coverage. But that's going to be a problem. And then Azerbaijan, you don't even have access to because like Azerbaijan's a landlocked country. I mean, this doesn't really count. It's not even you can't put ships in that sea over there in the Caspian. And same with your other choices. You can get like from Persia or the Ottomans in like the Middle East, but again, India's right over here. Muscat sometimes joins the Entente. Germany's got like a base over here, so it's like. And even in the Mediterranean in general, you got the French over here, and then you've got the two Sicilies. They're probably going to be not on your side. The Greece like to join the Entente a lot too. Bulgaria sometimes joins the Reich Pact. The French, they've got a decent navy in Algeria over there. So it's like your convoy's got to like run the fucking gauntlet if you're trying to get wartime oil as the Union of Britain. And there's like without being able to declare early war goals, there's like no real way to fix that problem. So like we talked about before earlier, like previously you could just go kill Venezuela, eat the French and whatnot, and then you don't have to worry about it for Wall Creek 2. You're done, you're set. Alternatively, you go kill the Ottomans and take oil, and then push into Persia and take this oil over here. But that's off the table too. You can't declare war goals, so you're kind of stuck with this precarious oil situation, and you're sort of forced to play around it. Like there's really nothing you can do about that unless you try to troll the Entente. Like, I mean, and one of the advantages of trying to go against Ireland here is if you try to pick a fight with them, then they might join the Entente, and then you might get an early war with the Entente that you're able to win, and then you can kind of come over here and do that. But that's like not guaranteed. And if that gets you an early war with like Germany instead, like they go to the Kaiser, then like being at war with the Reichspakt doesn't really get you access to anything that you'd want to take anyways, right? So that's a bit unfortunate. Like you're not going to be able to take West Indies Federation and then set up for like an early push into Venezuela when Wall Creek 2 starts to secure that oil. What does the Reich Pact have over here that you're going to take? That's going to let you get Persia or like Azerbaijan or something. Like not much. So like there's that's a very like RNG strategy to try and go for that play. Like try and pick a fight with Ireland to get that early war. And if you bet all your chips on that, then it's going to be a rough time. And sort of another reason why I don't like the restriction on the early war goal justification is that like if you want to go for a build, like say we're playing Commie France and you want to just be real aggressive and like pick fights with Germany and demand Haute-Savoie and like hope for the Wallonia crisis or the ban FAUD, and you decide you want to go on a strategy that's going to support that, like you go road to war immediately. Start building military factories and like get down to your tank divisions. So you have like a pretty scary army early game, but then none of those events fire and like the Swiss just hand over Haute-Savoie and you don't get a war and you're just sitting there with a bunch of obsolete equipment for World War II, right? Or World War II. So it's like it really. Whereas previously, if you got all that stuff, it's like, hey, free money, we're just gonna declare anyways, right? With manual justification. So it really kind of limits the versatility of your gameplay. Is that 1939 timing push is pretty much all you can do. So I mean, I don't want to get hung up on that though. So I really don't like that change. But that's that's my piece. I said it, so it is what it is. So oil is going to be a problem for us, and we're going to have to deal with it. And probably the way we're going to do that is we're just going to have to build like a bunch of fuel storage, fill it up before the war, and then hope we can get a KO on Germany and Austria, and get access to oil from Romania, or at least get like a at least like take control of the Mediterranean, like knock these guys out, get the Italian peninsula, come in here and sink the French fleet, and then take the Suez from them, so that we have like some way to actually fuel our navy and our planes and everything like that. So I think it's going to be certainly a driving factor. You're definitely on a timer with the oil. So yeah, again, either we're gonna have to do something like that, or we're gonna have to like push really hard for like these islands over here, and trying to knock out the West Indies, and like and then we'll hope we have enough range to get coverage in these areas, and we'll try and establish trade with Venezuela. Or if we take out like some of these islands, come down over here, we might be able to grab some of this, and so on and so forth. That's something we're definitely going to have to think about. We're going to have to devote resources to. Convoy, 200 convoys to stockpile. I mean, that's not a whole lot, especially if you're going to import like a whole bunch of oil. So probably going to want to build some more. And then we have the usual 0 command powers or army experience. Decisions. So we have the usual stuff for war propaganda and your political instability fixers, head of intelligence. Second Weltkrieg decisions. Like once I think you're at war with Germany or whatnot, you're allowed to take some of these things to get a few more bonuses. This gives you a bunch of militia units and whatnot, and I think this gives you a bunch of like light cruisers. So those are quite nice focuses to have. Like the war starts and you can afford them. Like I think free cruisers is always money. Free port garrisons too. You can throw in on your wall over here. I mean that's apolitical power for that's not bad. So those are decisions that are probably worth taking. And of course stability. For 50 political power for what this gets you, that's I think probably pretty worth it. So when the war starts, and if you have some political power to spare, that's not bad to spend it on. So over here, intelligence agency, again, Union of Britain is a country that starts with an intelligence agency, so that's very nice. Not a whole lot of countries get that. So you've got that available to you. And yeah, so we'll see. Like last time, blueprint stealing didn't work out all that great for us. But we'll see what we can do this time. At least you can start upgrading these things, and you can start gathering some intelligence networks, which we might want later on. I'm not sure if I really want to invest too heavily into this last time. I haven't played U-Brit in a while, and I haven't really tested a clean build order for this patch for it. So this is kind of like a raw run, and I'm not really too confident in the the reliability of these tricks here. So research, we've got 4 research slots, which is like kind of on par for a major. And then we've got we start with the electromechanical engineering tech, which you'll see in a bit. So that's not bad. In terms of like land-based stuff over here, we have 1936 rifle, and we have motorized. We don't have armored cars. We don't have any special forces. So this is kind of like, it's nice that you get motorized and like the rifles over here, but this is kind of like lower than average for a major. Like usually you'll get the at least one of these over here, maybe both. So not having them kind of sucks, and like Marines would be pretty nice to have for us as Britain, but it is what it is. I guess they're considered to be more of a militia than a special forces army at the moment. So on support equipment, we've got engineers and recon. So again, it's nice that we get both of those. Tanks, we have access to both light and heavy tanks, so that's it's not bad. Like some countries, sometimes only get one or the other, so it's nice that we get both. Artillery, we've got the standard 1934 artillery that everyone gets, except for like really impoverished countries. So this is pretty average for major now. I think like a lot of the majors used to get anti-air, a lot of them didn't, but it's nice to have anti-air. Land doctrine, we have no land doctrine, and I believe like if we look on our focus tree over here again, I don't think you're required to pick a doctrine either. Like I think the focus just is one land doctrine, and you only get one bonus. So you can talk about that later too. But you can pick any doctrine you want, so that's nice. Ship designs. So we've got all the 1936 hulls. We've got cruiser armor scheme. We've got the revived armored cruiser. We've got dreadnoughts armor scheme over here. We've got 3 submarines, a couple torpedo techs, mines, transport ships, and sonar. So it's nice that we get sonar. Not a lot of people start with the sonar, but like unlike the Germans, we unfortunately don't start with the improved ammunition 2 tech. Naval doctrine, nothing on naval doctrine, and I think I think you have to make a choice here. Yeah, you have to make a choice on whoever's plan you go with. That's what you get, which is a little bit unfortunate again because naval aircraft would be nice. We have a lot of carriers, but also submarines are pretty good and whatnot. But I think we'll make that choice when it comes to it. I think I'm going to go with just base strike because it's not something I do that often, and we do have carriers in New Britain, so we might just go with that and just come down the carrier tree. Air for Union of Britain is pretty bad. So you've got your interwar obsolete fighter that we probably never want to build. Interwar obsolete tactical bomber that sucks. And we have a strategic bomber, and I'm not really a huge fan of strategic bombing campaigns, so that's kind of like a miss for me. Like if I was going to go for a bombing campaign, I'd probably just build tactical so I can also do close air support. But we do get the strategic bomber. And we get the 1936 naval bomber, which is carrier capable, which again is nice because we have carriers. And we're, of course, behind on our close air support and our fighter, and our heavy fighter, and our tactical bomber. So overall, not great in the air department for Union of Britain. Air doctrine, of course, no doctrine, and I think we're free to pick whatever for air. We get two bonuses for air doctrine. We get any doctrine we want, so that's nice. And engineering, we start with 1936 electromechanical engineering, like a lot of the majors do. So that's pretty nice. I don't think it really gets better. And industry, we start off again with the really nice to have synthetic oil experiments research and the first fuel refining tech researched. And most countries only get fuel storage. So it's nice that we get that, and again, because we're a syndicalist country with the Commune de France, we will also get the Revolutionary Synthetics event, I believe. And none of this stuff, but we usually don't get that stuff anyways. Nobody gets that. So national focus tree. So the first focus you got to do as Union Britain is the 1936 Congress of Trade Unions, and that lasts 140 days. Can't be canceled, and that's going to set up your government. And I think you get to pick. I could be misremembering, but I think you get to pick when you do that focus, like which one of these guys you want to support, and then that's the tree you get. So you need to be careful about that. And I think you might also get you get a choice between either federationist or autonomous military. And I think which choice you make determines which one of these you can pick. And then you'll also get a choice about whether you want dispersed or concentrated industry, all in that event there. So it's kind of unfortunate that this is 140 days that we have to wait before we can do anything else. And Commie France, when we were playing as Evil France, we could just pick whatever we wanted, and we kind of got that event for free. So that's a bit sad, but it is what it is. Like a lot of these focuses are pretty short anyway, so it's not terrible. Foreign policy tree, you can come down here, get some more support, and you can. I'm not sure specifically what these do. I think I've got these events before when I was playing as these countries. I think it's just like a couple civilian factories or something like that. But so you can go and help out your comrades overseas. I could be wrong about that. I might be misremembering, but I believe it's like a couple factories, or it might be some guns or something like that. So you can do that. You have that tree with war with Ireland, or you can try and have better diplomatic relations with them. So there's that. You can try to influence Norway and Australasia to support syndicalist parties over there. And yet I'm not sure, I believe these are still random, so it just makes it more likely for them to follow you. I'm not sure. I don't read event ID, event coding or whatnot, but I'm not sure if this is a set deal, or if you go ahead and you do this, you're going to get that flip. And if you don't, then you just wasted 2 focuses on that stuff. So I'm usually not a big fan of that. If you're spending a national focus on something just to get a chance for something to happen, I'm not a huge fan of that. I like to know what I'm getting, especially for something like a national focus, which is 35 days closer to your research slot or some extra factories or something that you're giving up in order to take that shot. And then over here, this is a real nice tree once the war starts. And again, previously before the justification nerf, you could go to war with Canada pretty soon, like I was talking about, and you could get this real quickly, and then you can come down over here and get negative 10% consumer goods. This gives you 3% population to fix your population, and then you can go on total mobilization, right? So it's you're in 1938 and you've got no consumer goods, and you're on total mobilization building factories at plus 20% speed for militaries, right? So that was really strong. for the rush, just to like get access to these like pretty powerful focuses pretty fast. And Bletchley Park, I think, used to be like an extra research slot. So Union Britain could get like 6 research slots, but that's been nerfed, so it's just like a research speed bonus now. So like that's the foreign policy in the the post war tree. So for this stuff, this is going to set you up for your politics. And like there's like these are pretty low priority. I think like there's not really much to do here. It's just like some stability and political power if you want to take them. Status quo is the status quo. This option over here is going to let you explode your country into Scotland, Wales, and I think England after the Welkrieg is over. And this one over here is Mosley's totalist path. Yeah, so this would be Radsock, I should say. This is Radsock. This is Syndicalist. This is Totalist. This is Mosley's path, and you're gonna pay some political power, and you're gonna get commissars. And this is a pretty good national spirit. It gives you a negative -5% supply consumption, 5% recovery rate, 5% reinforced rate. That's pretty nice. And you're also gonna get again some more support and popularity, and so on and so forth. And this just makes Mosley your head of government. Sorry, I had to cough there. Yeah, so aside, you're looking at the stuff, if you wanted some more political power, you might pick this up early. Or if you wanted this buff, you might just grab this, right before the war starts. But, otherwise, I don't really see, a whole lot of incentive to come down too far in this tree in our build-up phase. And that's, kind of the critical point when you're planning your build is what you want to do before that 1939 timing. So there's that. Then we have our economy tree. So here we have the common land, and this is again a really nice focus to get, particularly early on, because you're going to get additional monthly population, 50% bonus, which is nice. So right now, recruitable 758 per month. It's not a whole lot, but if you get that pretty early on, you might get sometimes every bit of manpower counts sometimes, right? And it's nice to get that. And then 10% resource gain efficiency, which again, because we're a bit landlocked, we might need that steel and that tungsten. And also the big the big money thing here is max factories and estate 15% though, because like I said, we're not gonna be able to really get any early game territorial gains and whatnot. So it's nice to have more slots to put things into because we don't really have a whole lot of land that we can expand into. So that extra factories and estate is real nice from that. And you get your choice between dispersed and concentrated. So concentrated, this will give you obviously concentrated buffs, and dispersed is dispersed buffs. Coming down this side will give you a bonus to military factory construction speed. And coming down this side is just going to give you a bigger bonus to production efficiency, cap, and factory output. You also get a bit of bonus to production efficiency, cap, and factory output. It's not as big, but you get the military factory construction speed bonus as well. So overall, pretty neutral, and I would say the choice that you make between these two is probably going to be decided by whether or not you want concentrated or dispersed, as opposed to the different buffs that you get. And either side, kind of nice. You're also going to get 2x research bonuses for industry. So sort of the ideal time to plan this out for is you want to take this focus and have it complete at the same time your 1937 that you're going to probably research late 1936, when this is finishing and this is finishing, so you can come down and grab these right away ahead of time and really set up your economy. And that'll help you out a lot, especially because we're not really going to be going to war before 1939, so it's nice to get those things in place earlier. And yeah, so political power, get some infrastructure, and then this is our extra research slot down here. So we're working towards your research slot at the same time you're working for your economy, so that's nice. You're not really going off in a different tree or whatnot. It's nice when this is down here because these are usually the ones that are going to be the high value to get first off anyway. So you don't really have to decide between the two. One leads to the other. Military tree over here, and the Union of Britain kind of has a pretty weak land military tree, if we're being honest. So this event is going to give you the option to get either a free infantry weapons manufacturing company, if I remember correctly. Let's see, where's that? Infantry equipment. Yeah, so I think you either get I think Birmingham is one of them. I'm not sure what the other one is. I think they're both the same, so it doesn't really matter. But you got a choice to either get this company or one of the other companies for free, and take a 50% research bonus for guns, or you're going to get the option to just take a straight no company and 100% research bonus on guns. So that's what this is going to get you. So again, if you're going to do that, kind of like the ideal time to take that focus is like after you've just finished researching this, and then you're going to get the research bonus for like an ahead of time rifle, 1939, which is either going to be done real fast or it's going to be done with a bonus stacked on top of it for one of these companies that you picked that you got for free. I think I would probably go for the company in that instance because like the company also is going to reduce your research speed by 10% anyway, so it's like 60% versus 100% in a free 150 political power company. I would probably go with the company. And then this stuff over here, so like depending on what you pick over there, either federationist or autonomist. Yeah, central command or decentralized command. So planning speed, division organization, leadership experience gain. That's nice. I think this is the one that goes with the reformed militia or something like that. So like it does help. Like you get this, and that kind of cancels out your negative 20% division organization. Central Command is going to get you organization plus 20%, which is great, especially if you're going to clear the debuff in the first place. It's just like a straight bonus. And bonuses to planning speed and max planning. So planning speed is not as good as max planning. Max planning, if you wait for max planning, that's going to translate into extra attack and breakthrough that you wouldn't have otherwise. Planning speed just lets you do it a bit faster. And like I said, you're pretty fast on planning with staff office plan anyways. So I would definitely prefer max planning to planning speed given the choice. And over here, you get a choice of either 25 Army experience and some generals, or a general and naval commander, or you go 50 experience and minus 100 political power. So, the Federationists, you're going to get this. I guess you could do either or. I think Federationists can pick any of these combinations it wants, it looks like. And then Autonomists only get the decentralized, and the Maximists only get People's Officer Corps and Central Command. So, we'll have to remember that for our picks here. I don't really like having to pay 100 political power. That's sort of unfortunate, but 50 Army experience is that's useful to have. Probably more useful than like, unless I'm not sure what that guy's stats are, but unless it's like a really good general, I'd probably rather have like the extra experience. And then you get your choice: either reform the militias, and that's gonna soften the debuff and make it stronger where it's strong, or you can dissolve the militias and just ditch the spirit entirely at the cost of 100 political power. And again, your choice is like if you come with the Maximus choice, you're gonna have to go this way. Or if you go the Anarchist choice, you're gonna have to come down this way. So that's that. And then the rest of the stuff is just like tech research bonuses, some experience and some doctrine, and then women soldiers. So this is recruitable population factor 25%, and consumer goods factory is 10%. That's pretty harsh. Like 10% consumer goods factories is like pretty rough. That's like a decent chunk of your economy. But like if you came down over here and you just like really needed the manpower and you've got this anyways, it's like you can kind of stomach that. And you get the so like whatever your recruitable population factor is, you get like a fourth more on top of that. So like if you had 10%, this would give you like an extra 2.5%. So, and you get a general. There's that, and then you get one research and motorized, and you could use tank or support artillery. So like, this is like pretty far down. Like you got to wait 140 days, and you have to come down all the stuff, and then you get your tank research bonus. So this is like buried pretty deep in the tree. So like any sort of tank rush is going to be like a lot weaker than if you did it like for example with Commune of France, we were able to get this like right away and start researching our medium tank pretty much right after our light tank 2 finished with a bit of juggling there to keep that at. But not so much for Union of Britain. So like if you want to do Union of Britain, you're gonna have to come down quite a bit of ways on this tree after already waiting 140 days to get that tank research bonus. Same with the artillery bonus. But like I don't rate artillery very highly anyways. Like I would definitely choose tanks if this is a choice that's offered. So that's kind of unfortunate. It's gonna be really difficult for Union of Britain to get like a pretty strong tank model into the field for 1939. So we've got the naval tree over here. So the UB naval tree is like a lot better. You get a pretty nice. You get one doctrine research here, and I think you get 2. So you get like quite a few naval doctrine researches out of here. And this is like a pretty nice national spirit to have for your Navy too. You get like a fleet coordination, you get experience gain, you get spotting speed. And I think you get some more down over here. You get more spotting speed and a range factor over here too. So this is an additional to bonuses to your doctrine. So those are like really strong, and like these are pretty fast too, right? And then research bonus to carrier models kind of sucks. And the reason again, like we're gonna have 140 days to do this focus in the first place, and you're gonna have to come down over here, and then you're gonna have to wait for like another, like if you're trying to go for like an ahead of time carrier or something like that, you're gonna have to wait for this thing to finish. And even with like 100% bonus, this is gonna be like a year, from when you start researching it. And then you're gonna have to build the thing. And carriers take like a real long time to build. It's like it's doubtful, even if you rush that you'd get like an advanced carrier in the field that was worthwhile, stocked with planes before our 1939 timing date. So like this is like capital ship research bonuses are always like, unless you started behind and like you can with the bonus you can get this done in like 50 days or something. It's a bit questionable. It's a bit questionable on whether or not that's something you're gonna want to take. And then naval aviation, 2 research bonuses for naval aircraft. That's nice. Like if you come over, like you've got a fighter rush. If you rush your fighter, then you can also use this to rush your carrier variant. And again, we have carriers, so that's nice to have. It's 4 dockyards focus, not bad. Over here for the fleet and being, again, you're going to get 1 research for cruisers, and then also you get a bonus for naval gunnery and fire control computers. So that's nice. I think the fire control computers, though, like the problem with them, I think if we look at it over here, the fire control system is like this reduces your reliability higher every tier you go, and reliability is like related to your critical hits, and like critical hits are like the ones that are like really going to mess up your capitals, and if your capital gets crippled, then that's like I believe that's like usually when you lose them, like when they can't retreat fast enough because you blew off their engines or something like that, and then like you're going to need to repair those things after too, right? So it takes the ship out for a while when you want to repair it so that you can fight at full capacity again. So like taking a reliability hit is it's questionable as to whether or not that's worth the bonuses that you get, like to make yourself more vulnerable to crits, particularly on something like some of the converted ships or whatnot that'll have like pretty low reliability to begin with. So there's that, but that's nice to get it. And again, the dreadnought effort, so you can get battleships, and we already kind of discussed about my thoughts on that. And destroyers, and then again over here submarines, and 2 bonuses for torpedo technology as well. So this is like pretty nice. Like I think if I had to pick, I would definitely be going for cruisers or submarines. But again, we have carriers, so we want to use base strike, I think. So that's a kind of unfortunate choice to have to make. Merchant marine. This is it's nice to get trade convoy production costs. That's helpful. And then you get escort efficiency plus 10%. So that's nice. So you don't have to have so many destroyers to get escort efficiency. And if you do wind up having to trade, which we might, it's having less destroyers pulled off of our death stack and having to go escort things is going to be nice to have. And then we already talked about this earlier. This is a really nice national focus. And then we get some invasion speed, Marines research time. So this is like another nice one to have. Like, but usually if you're going for invasions, you probably want something behind it to like actually matter. So like you're going tanks, and at that point you're probably not even coming down the street. You're going down like your army tree instead. So these always seem nice to me, but I've never really been incentivized to rush these over like armor technology, just because like Marines are kind of like low impact, and like whether or not your evasion speed goes so fast is ultimately irrelevant in whether or not you win the fight, like a lot of the time. So, and then the air is also pretty nice. You get 125 experience, like right off the top here. So you can either use that to like bump research and doctrine, or you could use that to like improve a variant of fighter that you get. And you get your attack bomber and close air support. You get both, or you can get fighter and heavy fighter. Again, you get both. It looks like. So. Pretty fast, like compared to like the tank. It's like you finish this, you come over here, 35 days, 42 days, boom, you're making ahead of time fighters in the research slot, right? So that's nice. one synthetic refinery. So that's like, also you come down over here and, every refinery helps. You get a building slot. That's nice. 2 doctrines we can get from this focus. Another 100 air experience over here for this. Again, that could be, a doctrine bump, or it could be to improve your variant. And I'm not really sure what women in the Air Force do. Like I've never really understood that. But I don't know. I guess you get that. I think there's a lot of focuses that just set that rule, but this one you get 100 air experience on that. Air Observer Corps, you get research for anti-air, and then research for radar. So this is kind of nice because if you're going for your Navy and you want to put if you look on your tech screen over here as a naval power, AA is something you're going to want to have anyways because it's going to increase your ship anti-air as well. Like this is your anti-air. This is your level 3 ship anti-air, right? And same with radar. So it kind of meshes in pretty well to have those technologies. And then this, of course, is a real nice national spirit too. Like anything that gets you cheaper air is always great. It's like extra military factories that don't cost you the resources. So that's nice. And a couple air bases, whatever. So these you build air bases real fast when you have a bunch of civilian factories, anyways. So again, I probably wouldn't bother at that point to go with those national focuses. And then I think I'm not sure where I hit them, but yeah, so over here you get your usual, you click them and they're your global continuous focuses. You get all those too. So that's our national focus tree. Overall, and again, this is it's a little bit fugly to have this kind of focus tree when you're playing single player because Union of Britain, you're looking at that and it's pretty much painfully obvious that you're supposed to be this naval and air power, right? That's you have a lackluster army tree, but you got all these really nice naval and air focuses. And kind of the problem with that is that you're not going to win with your navy. Germany's got a land empire. They have access to whatever they want overseas, or overland they can bring in. You're not going to starve the Germans off of anything with your navy. And you can fight their Kaiserreich Marine or whatnot. And again, usually you can beat the AI. The AI doesn't death stack, so your fleet is usually locally superior. So you can win those fights, and especially if you're fighting over here where you've got your air bases and everything for air cover. But you're not really going to deliver the Germans a finishing blow with your navy. And then the problem with air is only as good as where you can get air bases to actually use your airplanes. And if you remember over here when we were playing our German campaign, we pulled our tanks back down from this way and then pushed out from Ukraine because United Baltic Duchy wasn't our puppet anymore, so we couldn't build anything over there. So we had to come in through Ukraine so that Ukraine got the land so that we could build air bases and infrastructure, primarily infrastructure in that case, to help us push into Moscow. And this is kind of the same predicament that you're in over here as the Union of Britain, right? If you come over here and you help the French push, and the French are going to push up, but they're probably not building air bases for you, right? So it's you're going to get to a point and you're well, great, my fighters can't reach. You're there's only some damaged airports over here that I'm not even fixing because they're not in my territory. And then it's well, now I can't really use the Air Force that I built in sort of a reasonable fashion. So that's that's kind of the sticking points there with Air and Navy. If you were playing multiplayer or something, you got your buddy on Commie France over here playing doing some war crimes and Red Terror together. He can build all the air bases for you want when he's pushing in. So you can have your 6,000 planes or whatever, and that might be excessive. But 3,000 or 4,000 planes coming in over here, messing up the Germans, that won't be a problem. You can have enough air cover for that. But AI, not so much, right? So you don't want to be in a position where you've got all this navy and all this air, and then you just watch France die because you can't really do anything about it. So that's kind of the conundrum when you play with the Union of Britain. And like I said, my usual strategy before is we do some stuff over here, and then we would try and go for a naval invasion over here into Wilhelmshaven. And I think I didn't I just hard researched medium tanks for that in the build I was doing, I think. So you come over here, you land with marine tanks, and you take Wilhelmshaven, and then you control this land, right? and then you can build air bases and navy in it and all sorts of stuff, and kind of solve that problem. Like, so you can control your naval from over here, and your navy's doing something, and then you can like you can push in, and like if you want to, in that case, because you control the land, you can build air bases, you can build ports, you can build infrastructure as needed. But of course, to do that, we hard rushed our tanks, and like in that build, your air power is like a little bit disappointing. I'm not gonna lie, because you have to put a lot of factories on tanks to get those marine tank divisions to be able to knock that and like hold that corridor over here, because you're probably gonna get pressured pretty hard once you land there. So and you have to push in far enough to actually get enough of a state to start building significant numbers of air bases for that to work. So like that's kind of the conundrum that you're in as the Union of Britain and trying to decide what to do. But I think for this game, like I've done like ahead of time tanks. Like I did that in Germany, I did that in France, and like really against the AI, I think that's probably like one of the strongest things you can do is just get like a bunch of good tank divisions in the field, and that's going to allow you to make encirclements, and that's going to have like the most impact to really take out the AI. But we've like done that a few times already, so I think I might just build some planes, try and play like more of an air war, and then and then see where that leads us straight. So I don't know how this campaign is going to go. It's sort of like a new try for me, so we'll see how that goes. So our strategy is probably going to be to come in over here. We're going to go and grab our air stuff first. So this is like 140 days, and I think during that time I'm probably going to research, try and pick up Fighter 1. And then we're going to come like over here. Fighter 1's going to finish. I'm going to start on Tactical Bomber 1. And then once we have our focuses finished over here, we can start working on ahead of time tactical bombers, ahead of time fighter models. And we'll get like a pretty nice air force up in the field, and like hopefully the oil situation doesn't murder us. And the reason we're going to pick tactical bombers is that tactical bombers are going to have like enough range that if the AI doesn't build we'll still have more likely to have good mission efficiency, even if the AI isn't like building up air bases when we're pushing in. So hopefully we'll still be able to get like meaningful ground support doing that. So we'll see how that works. And then like once we do that, we're going to come over here, and we're basically just going to start pounding out our industry stuff, getting our research slot, and yeah, I don't think I'm going to bother with any of this stuff. Like mainly I'm just going to grab the tech rush over here. I'm going to grab all this stuff, and then like before the war, you probably want to clear your militia's national spirit and like deal with this stuff just so you've got all your buffs before the war. And then if the game drags on, we might want to maybe we'll take this 100% research bonus, and then we'll go and grab like another medium tank or something if we have to, and try and make a breakthrough unit if that's necessary. The other thing too is like also as the Union of Britain, like even if you made the tanks, right, and you got the risky naval invasion over here. I mean, usually this is usually okay. Like I think the Reichspakt was stronger when it was doing it before, and it still wasn't too hard to stick that. But like if you're trying to come over here and bust through, like we saw what we did in the Commune of France game, like we punched through Charleroi, we encircled, we got the reverse Dunkirk going on, we killed a bunch of Germans, and then we kind of just like we did like that kind of zigzag pattern, right? It's like kill a bunch of Germans here, kill a bunch of Germans here, kill a bunch of Germans here, and then you go and hit Berlin and sweep around and you kill Austria, right? That's like usually the most efficient way to kill Germany. But the problem to do that when you do that is like because France is on the AI, like you'll start attacking into these and they'll start shoving their infantry in there too, or they just won't stop attacking the tile you're trying to attack into, and your tanks can't get in. And it makes it like kind of like the same problems we were having if you watch the France game. We were trying to play with the AI in the American Civil War. Is that they'll kind of ruin your breakthrough plans by just making dumb attacks. And again, there's nothing you can do about that. It's the AI. So if we can get them air superiority and we can get some bombing, the Third International is pretty strong right now. And they might just be able to push through into Berlin. So like I kind of hope that's what happens. We'll see. So that's like our strategy covered. I think I've done our starting position over here. We can look at our army. So army. Yeah, I gotta go through the tabs too. I got a bit distracted there. have a lot to talk about. Okay, so it looks like that's all we got. So we did our researches, diplomacy. We're a syndicalist faction, so we've got guarantees and whatnot with Socialist Republic of Italy. Commies are in our faction over here, and we've got a couple of the usual syndicalist guys over around the world. Everybody else kind of hates us though, but we don't really have any entangling things like we did with the Germans. Trade and a resource situation, so we've got a whole lot of steel, pretty good steel count as Britain. A little bit of tungsten. And again, when you're doing the tanks, probably what you're going to want to do is pick up your medium tank. And again, that's just because same as with France, Portugal is a lot more easier to secure as a source of those resources. The alternative is if you come over here and you invade Sweden, you get your choice of tungsten or chromium a little bit, not as much. But if you're only making a few factories worth, then if you took out Sweden, that would be okay. But that's a bit tougher to do, depending on how the flips go, than it is just come over here and kill Portugal, and we'll get CNT FAI in. So that's kind of friendly ground for us, anyways. Like we talked about, we got a little bit of oil, not much, but better than nothing, and a little bit of aluminum. That's definitely going to be a concern for us if we're making airplanes. Same with rubber. So again, this is going to be a game where we're going to need to build refineries, and no chrome. Construction. We're not building anything right now, but I think we're going to start off. We'll build 10 fuel silos. So we'll build 10 fuel silos first, and I think we'll start building some civvies. Get our get this up. And again, kind of the rule I use is build civilian factories until you get the technology research that you want to be actually building for your 1939 timing, and then switch to military factories. And that seems to be the best way to do it if you're on concentrated industry, which I think will go again. Concentrated industry I think is just stronger for the timing pushes that you're going to do. Because you're trying to rush technology and you just want to stick on that, and that's what you're going to get for all material purposes for the war, and then not having to change your production lines concentrated is going to get you the most stuff. Yep, so we'll do that, and then we start getting our planes that we want to build. We're going to start building some military factories. And you can see, even now, we're kind of getting pretty restricted in the amount of factories that we get. So we're going to make sure, we're definitely going to want to make sure we start getting those research buffs for max factories in our state and that common ground spear pretty soon, so we can keep building stuff. We don't kind of stall out here because we just run out of space to put things. And again, would it be better to build civs first here? Yeah, probably. But I mean, fuel silos. One of those things. It's like you just don't want to forget to do it. I think it might go. You know what? I think. Oh, this is tough. It's a tough decision because really, if we're on partial mode and this is a lot of fuel silos we're gonna have to build, it might just be better to build civvies first, and then it is better to build civvies first. But if I forget to build my fuel silos, then we're gonna have some hard times. So we'll have to keep track of that. And, I'm gonna take the gamble, and if I forget to build fuel storage and we run out of fuel and we have a rough game, you guys can laugh about it in the comments and make fun of me. So that's what we'll be doing there. Production. So we start off with a bunch of these carriers that are reasonably close to being finished. This one over here we could get July this year if you wanted. Same with some of these heavy hauls, but again, when we take a look at our Navy, you're going to kind of see that we already got a whole bunch of capital ships. Same with most things, and usually what you're going to need the most of anyways is your screens. You need those for screening efficiency, and you're going to need those for us potentially for convoy escort, and we're trying to get resources from places. So screens are going to be a lot more value than these carriers. And if you look at these these templates over here, this Republic class carrier here, so right away this is only a 40 deck size carrier, which sucks. And you can only have 4 carriers in your task force before you start to take stacking penalties, if I remember correctly. So if you're going to put carriers in your task force, you want them to have the most bang for the buck that you can get. And a 40 deck space carrier is just not cutting it. This deck space module that you get over here is is pretty terrible. And like we talked about that, like carriers like in the back, like they're probably not going to be hit by anything unless it's like a torpedo or your screening efficiency's gone and the capital ship hits you or a naval bomber comes at you, and like none of those things are going to care about your ship 5 armor. So like this is like, in my opinion, like one of the worst module slots you can pick, especially on a carrier compared to 20 deck space you could have. So like we don't want these. Like they're not a great carrier, and we've got more than 4 carriers already. Kind of same with these battleships. We don't want this stuff. If you did want to build more capital ships, or you want to invest like super heavy and maybe have like 2 death stacks or something like that, and like you're gonna go in like a dockyard build and just try to like rule the waves or something, then maybe you would want to let those finish. But I'm not really feeling it. And then yeah, submarines. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna go for a submarine strat this game. So we do need some convoys. And these probably also don't need to be at like the top end for like steel. No, not that it matters. We got like tons of steel anyways. So we'll get like some of these cruisers. Cruisers are almost done, and doesn't seem to want to let me pick a fleet. Okay, here we go. So we'll merge our fleet and then deal with that. So we're building these cruiser hulls. We'll get a few on convoy, and destroyers probably going to want to be what we're making. So I'll have this one go infinite, I think, and then we'll have below that we'll have yeah, this is like I guess our improved squares. We'll just build that. It's fine. I mean, it's like probably not the most efficient template, but it'll get the job done. So production, recruit and deploy. Let's look at our templates. So home guard, 18 width militia. This is it's a militia template, right? So not great. Infantry division with artillery, 18 width support artillery. This will probably be like our main template that we're going to work off of. Infantry division with tank support. So again, this is like kind of that like imitation space unit we're talking about before. So it's like it's going to be better at attacking than a regular infantry division. Like not by much, and it's still going to get pierced because it's a light tank 1 by like a lot of things. But I mean, if it's what you got to attack with, it's going to be better to attack with that than with like another infantry division that doesn't have a tank. Motorized division, 12 width motorized, it's pretty standard, and you got the 12 width 50-50 armor division that like most people have is like their stock armor division. So we've got that. And in our army in the field, so we've got over here. Wow, okay, so we've got 1 unit of infantry with the artillery. I forgot to change these symbols. I guess. I don't know. I'm not really a big fan of the bucket helm. Let's go with the normal helmet. The artillery. I think this is what I wanted for. Yeah, that. I'll do that. This is the rifles, and then with the tank can be the knight symbol. It's like usually what I do, and like if you keep things consistent playthrough to playthrough, then like when your attention split and stuff, it helps you to remember, right? So. Like to be consistent. So we got 1 of the infantry with artillery. We got 12 militias, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these units with the tank in them. And so I don't really like splitting my tanks apart like that. So I'm probably just gonna convert these guys to infantry division with artillery and send the tanks back to reserve. And probably these guys too. Like we probably want these guys to be infantry division with artillery, but we're gonna need like a lot of infantry equipment for that flip, and we might want to just get some more divisions in the field first, just because like you need more divisions in the field to like send a larger number of volunteers. And I think we want to send like two tank units is like standard, right? For trying to intervene in these wars, you want to send 2 armor units. It's usually what you want. Production, I just remember I didn't deal with any of this stuff over here. So, interwar fighter, like, you don't really want to be building these, but you can hold production efficiency, but then we're going unconcentrated. So, like, if you're on dispersed, it might be worthwhile to just, like, keep this line open, and then, like, if you get, like, dispersed 2 before you get your fighter tech that finishes, like, you can flip that over, and you'll have that bonus retention from dispersed 2, so it's like you're just holding the line for that flip to save your retention, and then You can just like lend lease those inner warfighter somewhere else for like air experience or something like that. It's like that might be like a play that wasn't silly. But for us, like I don't want to be building inner warfighters, not unconcentrated. Inner war bomber, kind of the same deal. Don't want to be doing that. Naval bomber 1, no, don't want to be building that. But we are going to want to start stockpiling up some carrier naval bombers. And we are going to need some like light tanks for like our volunteers and stuff, right? So that's pretty important. I think 5 factories is like probably okay for that, and like we're not going to be building any mills for a while. So I think this will be our production. We've got like enough resources. We don't have to trade for anything. We can do that at full capacity. And we're going to get a bunch of guns, and we're going to go over that template with artillery, and then we'll have like hopefully enough support equipment stockpiled and start getting some engineers. I think I might actually go put 1 factory onto motorized. And again, that's just like you start building production efficiency on motorized from the beginning. You're not going to flip that line. You're just going to wind up with like enough equipment that you're not going to have to worry about pulling factories to fill that in later if we do decide we want to make a tank division. So I think this is a production I'm going to go with, for those reasons. And the carrier and the naval bomber, I mean, it's like you need those for your carriers, right? And I think if we're going to have air cover anyways, like if we're fighting over here, probably we just want to stick 100% naval bombers in our carriers when we go to manage a carrier wing. And, but we'll see what we have. And then, of course, the carrier fighters that we have are going to be like shitty interwar carrier fighters in the first place. So, yeah. We'll have our Navy, we'll grab our Navy, and we will have these guys merge up and, I don't know, meet over here. Most of them probably already over there anyways. And we can take stock of the Navy after the timer starts for a little bit so we can see what we have. National focus, I mean, like you don't have a choice. This is like the focus you start. First focus every time, every Unit Britain playthrough. Unless you want to do something real silly like, what is this thing? Is that a production measureless class? So, okay, so that's fine. That's the ship we started production with, so that's what we're going to be doing. This is an improved cruiser hull anyway, so I don't know why they're saying that this is, I guess it's marked as out of date. Yeah, the measureless class. I'll recommission that so I don't have to see that wording. Again, that doesn't matter, it's like a housekeeping item. Recruit and deploy. Let's start training some of these infantry divisions with artillery. I'm not sure what our production can support. Like I'll start with 1 unit and we'll see how long it takes to fill up. So that research is what do we want? So like if we don't want to be building light tank 1, so like I think we just go and we get the light 2 research to help out our volunteer tanks, and then if we decide later on we need to go grab medium tank 2, then like it's just there for us. We can do that, and then so we'll have that, and then we're gonna grab this. We're gonna grab our construction technologies and the building stuff, and then I was gonna go grab the fighter 1 tech. Just for air rush. So, and we are delaying our doctrine by 1 research, but like I said, I don't want to be wasting production on these light tank 1s here. We want probably light tank 2s for volunteer stuff, and then it'll lead us into the medium tank. If we have to hard rush medium tank, which you might want to do just in case we do have to like make your own separate push, you'll have that option available. So let's go with that, and that'll make our volunteers a lot stronger as well. And I think that's yeah, this 1 rubber that we're missing, which is fine. So let's go with this, and I'll start the timer, and we can see where that gets us. And you always get the usual Kaiserreich January 1st lag. New Britain, so this is going to give you our pop-up on our starting situation, so you can pause and read that if you want to. Fascinating. We just have these set up as their Coast Guards in the meantime. Alright, Kerensky's dead. How barbaric. So, what a surprise that happened, right? Kornilov has stormed Moscow. So that's interesting. We might see some Boris Savinkov action in this game. I think like the last couple games we played, the Russians have went sucked them. Comrade Mosley calls a meeting, so Mosley is going to have his little powwow with his totalist buddies over there, and they're going to come up with their totalist charter. I haven't decided. Like, I don't think it's like again too important because like none of the stuff matters until like really after the Weltkrieg. Like who you pick here. Worrying? I don't know. That's not really that worrying. I don't think. I mean, Mosley's like the guy you pick for the memes, right? Direct rule from London, and so on and so forth. And there's his charter, so you can, again, if you're interested in that event, you can pause and read it. Oh. And Edward VIII is King of Great Britain now. George V has died, and again, Edward and the Algerians over here, they're going to be coming for us. They're going to try and reclaim the birthright and take back their rightful clay from us, and we're going to stop them. They're kind of like our nemesis. In spirit, anyways. I mean, like, really, like, they're probably just going to have a bunch of failed naval invasions, and the Germans are going to be our problem. But, yeah, Edward's crowned of King of Great Britain, and we'll see if we get any events about him trolling us. Which we might. I also heard there's, like, some new banter that they put in between Britain and Ireland. So we'll see how that goes. Let's go get this guy over here, I guess. I thought I recommissioned that. So Afghanistan is going over here, fighting with Dominion of India again, and the anarchists have been elected in France. I don't know, guys. What do you think? Do you think we should play anarchists this game? Like, now that you can't justify early war goals, it kind of like it really narrows the difference. Like, so picking anarchists isn't just such like a wet bag, and like blowing up our country kind of sucks, but that doesn't happen until after the Weltkrieg is over. I think we have to trigger it first. Like, we just do that at the end of the campaign as like our meme, right? Let's do that. Like, I decided we're gonna play fucking anarchist Britain, and we're gonna go with the decentralization guys. All right, Black Monday. I'm sorry if you guys want to see the Mosley path, but like I'm pretty sure like everybody else on YouTube has probably also posted a Mosley totalist Union Britain campaign. So it goes with our French buddies over here. And Poland has declared the Republic. Hopefully they backstab Germany like they did to me last time I played Germany. And the Austrians have pulled out of Italy. It's like your usual like starting game events that happen. Nothing really special. 1936 Trade Union Council begins. So this is our cash money event here. We're gonna get our government, and we're gonna go with our boy Nicholas Iglesias, I guess. And we'll just pick his decentralization stuff, and live with having an army of militias. And China is doing China things. Marshal Wu has backed Ann King, so that's good for Ann King. You can pause and read these events if you want to. Chip start of all, and we don't really have the left KMT I think joins the Bharatiya Communes team for like their Eastern Socialist bloc, so that's pretty far away. I don't really think we have a dog in that fight. It's not too important for us. We could go farm from XP if we wanted to, send like a unit over, but kind of low value. Economic policy vote. So most people assume the Maximus will win this debate, since Oswald Mosley is a major figure in the British economy these days. I think this is the one that's going to give us the centralized and streamlined. So let's. I do want to go concentrated this policy. So like, even though I'm going to go with the what is it? Autonomists, I would like to have the fixed central industry. Maybe that's the way we get Mosley in charge. Like, we'll still have him around, right? As we'll go the central research industry. So we need Federationist or Maximist. So do you want a Syndicalism or let's go with Mosley here. I guess we have him around in cabinet. Arson at RAF Penrose. So this is a new event. I don't think I've seen this before. Last time I was playing Union Britain. So Republican Air Force Base at Penrose was burned down last night in what seemed like a random arson attack. However, this morning, the three culprits, Saunders Lewis, Lewis Valentine, and DJ Williams, wow, what is he, like dubstep or something, turned themselves in at, what is that, Pueli Police Station. In eloquent defense, Saunders Lewis referred to the construction of the airbase at such a historic cultural monument as a crime against Wales. This was simply an act of downtrodden people lashing out. The Maximists of the TUC have called for the alleged ringleader Williams to be executed. Well, that's harsh. And his co-conspirators imprisoned. I guess Mosley would call for that. In a more calm tone, the Federationists have called for 3 men to be arrested, and finally the Autonomists and Congregationists have called for them to be acquitted. Well, we're going to be a bunch of dirty Autonomists. So Iglesias is right. Let them walk as free men. We'll do that. Suck it, Mosley. Gallo seizes control of Ecuador. It's like this is like a military dictator, and he can seize control of Ecuador and help them against their war against Peru that's coming. So here we have that event if you want to. Restoration of democracy in Australasia. So we'll see. Maybe they'll elect some syndicalists. And Afghans called it quits. That's usually what happens. But when we were playing France, they held on for like a pretty silly amount of time. Pope's dead. Happens every game. Internal policy vote for debating internal policy. And we're going to go with the autonomous. Decentralization. Perhaps even local TUCs for the home nations. Yeah, maybe, huh? We're going to destroy Britain together. Nanjing has capitulated. So that's like usually how that plays out. Like Nanking is like pretty tough. And they tend to win more often than not. First International Congress, so that's gonna be nice for us. Maybe we'll win the Spartacade. Nope. Military policy vote. Scottish, English, and Welsh National Army. Yeah, I guess. I guess we'll do that. I've never gone down this route before for reference, so like, hopefully, like I said, I think we get to choose when we blow up our country when we pick this focus over here, and like that only happens after Well Creek 2 Electric Boogaloo. So I think we'll be safe for like our performance in the Well Creeks. Like I don't think that'll matter. So I think I think it's okay for us to meme, and we're not going to get punished for it, but we might. So France has gone through with its designs to hold the first Congress of the Third International, and we are as expected. Yep, so the invitation's over. Let's go packing. Which British city? Oh, we get to host the Spartacade. Oh, geez. So, Yorkshire. You got Yorkshire over here? No, we don't. Greater London area, it's the capital. Can't go wrong with throwing infrastructure in the capital, so we'll do that. Heads of socialist, syndicalist, and Bolshevik parties. So Bolsheviks, so they're still around, I guess. Heads of state and governments, foreign ministers, and journalists have all arrived in Paris for the opening of the first Congress of the Third International. It's time to open the doors and take the stage. Here we go. Yep. Use any means to overthrow the international bourgeoisie. Yep, we will support our friends in Spain. And again, you don't want to have a second front for Commie France in the Kingdom of Spain. So, like, that's something you definitely want to make sure that you win if you're playing International, like, pretty much every time. Resignation of Philip Snowden. So, Philip Snowden, who is, like, our current guy over here, the devil himself, is stepping down. That's shocking. Going to lose 50 political power. But I think before we lose our 50 political power, maybe up our conscription law? Or we could do one of these things. Yeah, you know, I think what we really want first though is like probably one of these construction companies or like our air company. So I'm not going to do that. I'll just take the hit. You're not going to be cute about this and take a 100 and then do that. So we'll have to find a replacement for Mr. Snowden. Their boy Jackie Reed and the CSA. It's a modern day Benjamin Franklin, and we don't really have an option, so we're supporting him. And in Central America, yeah, let's nurture syndicalism in Latin America. Women's role in the worldwide revolution. So it's Helen Crawford. I think that's this lady over here who's like crushing our recruitable population. She's decided that women have to participate in industry and armed forces as well too. Britain is not ready for such a decision. We need to wait for the Congress of Trade Unions in the fall to force the matter. So be it then. So I guess we'll get a decision in the fall. Comrade Sail Mohammed. So again, these are the people over here probably being brutally repressed and discriminated against by the French, and they want to have probably some car bombs and stuff over here, IRA style, against them. But there are some doubts, or there used to be doubts anyways, that he was actually an Arab nationalist, and he doesn't really care about his syndicalism. He just wants the French gone. But now we just say we gradually support the creation, so we don't get an option. But whatever. These guys Republican? Or are they imperialist? Well, okay, we'll have to check later. They're Republican. So dead French Republicans are, that's all good for us, regardless of the reason. White terror. Yeah, how dare those whites try and suppress their comrades overseas? It's awful, absolutely awful. Stories that have come out of Germany, Austria, Hungary, Russia, and Finland. So you guys out there that are Blessed Karl fans, Blessed Karl, Austria, doing white terror. Baharadia Commune asks for support. So this is like another oof. We're playing as like the good guy Radsoak, so yeah, I guess we'd probably like send the military advisors. I think we're gaining a decent political power gain anyways, pretty good. World economic crisis, so yeah, this is an opportunity. Let's try and make the most of it. Try and crush imperialists and sack the king, kill the Kaiser sort of deal. Cambridge Conference. So I think again, I'm not sure if this is the thing that starts the tech sharing or if or whatnot, but yeah, so we'll be combining our research. All right, and that's our first day of the Congress is over. Looks like King is gonna probably take out the boys over here. Alright, so just to be sure. Yeah, so I am on the concentrated path, so let's get our concentrated industry. Outdated, yeah, again, this is like the thing. I don't know why it's still calling that cruiser outdated, but okay, whatever. Got it. Research. Left KMT. They're having a rough time too. Probably just stack these guys in the Coast Guard. I think you need 24, I want to say, divisions to let's try 4 at a time training to be able to send 2 units of volunteers. Yeah, do I want to start exercising for experience? That's a good question. I'll just swap these guys over first, actually, and just I'll dump these guys in your Coast Guards. And Yeah, I don't know. I think no. I'm not going to exercise them right now. We get some experience later and whatnot. And we'll get some experience in the Civil War, so that's probably fine. Let's actually take a look at our Air Force and Navy too before I forget to do that. So like our Air Force, we got a bunch of carrier wings. We got kind of this like pretty tiny Air Force. I think we got like uh, cinematic scene air base. Let's see. Yeah, so we got like 75 fighters, 25 attack bombers, and 75 strategic bombers. So like pretty piddly Air Force, but like they're outdated planes anyways, and they'll be good enough to like kind of support our volunteers. So our Navy got a pretty big Navy over here. We'll split out our submarines, so don't forget to do that. You guys a new fleet. Okay, so we have 100 submarines of various different types, like mostly these Well Creek hulls. I think we have a couple large ones in here too. Yeah, so split these out into a new task force, large subs. And large subs are like pretty good at like patrolling and long range operations. And then we got like a bunch of these improved subs and whatnot too. So like a couple more large subs. Like that's not bad. It's nice that a lot of our navy is like improved stuff. Like a lot of countries, you just start with a bunch of like leftover, Well Creek nonsense. And then like our navy ourself, like our main navy over here. So we got an improved carrier hull, and like again, these are the same like Republic class ones that we kind of talked about. They're like really not that great because they're missing that extra deck space module. We got a converted dreadnought carrier. This is like our flagship. We'll just go ahead and make that. Yeah, we'll make that pride of the fleet, I guess, and that's going to be our flagship. So this is a converted dreadnought carrier hull, and this is like if you want one, you can either build one from scratch or you can convert a dreadnought to one for like a little bit cheaper, and like you get look at this, you get 100 deck size on this carrier, which is like pretty much as good as it gets in Kaiserreich. So if you need like 100 deck space, like the way you get that for the 1939 wars to have one of these carriers, you're not going to be able to get a modern carrier in time. So it's nice that we have that, and again, because we've got all these carriers, that's kind of the reason we're gonna go with base strike, and that kind of like determines our strategy, for the air researches and whatnot. So if we're behind on like our plane tech, and our navy also is kind of a little bit behind because of its composition. And I think, do we have any experimentals in here? No. So like pretty modern carrier fleet. It's just our design isn't great. So like what we're gonna want to do is probably like do a bit of training, and then we'll swap that up so that they have the extra deck space, and then we'll just like we can only have 4 carriers, so we'll just park the other 2, and they'll just be in reserve in case we need to bring one out again. So you got 2 dreadnoughts. The Victoria class I think has like the extra turret, so it's a little bit better than this one. The armored cruisers over here, and again, the armored cruisers for whatever reason have level 2 armor, where the battleships that you get only have like level 1 armor. So it's like your armored cruisers wind up being a bit better than your battleships, but we've got in total 6 armored cruisers and 12 battleships. So, and those are like pretty similar ships stat-wise, like especially when you've got like the level 2 armor, level 1 armor split like that. So more or less 18 battleships and 2 dreadnoughts. And we've got 25 cruisers, and like again, a lot of these are like the improved type. Some of them are the Well Creek type. I mean, like they're again, like they're like the reasonable stock design that like everyone's gonna have at this stage. Like the Japanese get like some pretty weird ones too. Like all their cruisers have like mine laying rails on them, but I mean, these are pretty normal. And then you get your 159 destroyers, and these I think some of these ones are like the ones that have like the double torpedoes, so like they're pretty nice to have in your fleets because it gives you a lot of torpedo attack. And they start with sonar too, which is it's always nice when your ships start with sonar. It's going to make them like a little bit better at dealing with enemy subs. And these are just like your basic bitch destroyers with a depth charge. So I mean, like they're not like the stuff that you start with aren't like great templates, but I think the river class is like the worst one. Yeah, it's just a 1 depth charge and like a level 1 torpedo. But I mean, destroyers like really they're cheap, they screen, they escort. You don't need too much fancy on your destroyers for them to do their job, especially against the AI. So in total we have what is this 174 screens, Like I usually like to have 5 or 6 screens to capital ratio, so we can pretty safely screen like most of the stuff over here. So you have 4 carriers, 2 dreadnoughts, and 18 battleships. Yeah, so like we'll be fine if we bench our 2 carriers. Like we could send this as a death stack, and we'd probably be fine for screening. And then of course, like when we play with like we did with the Germans, hopefully we'll have enough destroyers and cruisers that we built up that we can pull some of those out and use them for convoy escort duty if we have to later on. So like that's our fleet there, and I'm gonna do is I'm gonna exercise our submarines a bit, and at least just until we start getting to have to use our volunteers, and try and get some naval experience just so we can change that variant out and refit to have the extra deck space module on our carriers. A decent amount of XP there. Autonomous secure majority. Well, I mean that's not surprising. That's what we were aiming for. All right, we are now Radsuck. Woohoo! Gonna blow our country up. All right, and that's passed. So we're gonna go. I think I said we're gonna go try and pick up some air. Rule the seas from the skies and so on and so forth. I'll pick that up. Pedro Pablo Ramirez restores orders to Argentina. So Manuel Carles, I guess, evidently has failed in his Christmas coup there, and the military junta has deposed him, and they decided that Argentina maybe shouldn't be a bunch of expansionist assholes, just be usual authoritarian assholes instead. So we'll see how that works out for Argentina. It's probably nice for the Brazilians and like other areas around there that might be targets. Be a little bit relieved at that. And our naval XP is coming along quite nicely. Might leave these guys going for a while. I mean, it's not bad to have extra naval XP. You can use it for. Alright, we got our Hurricane. A lot of research finished there, actually. So I think we're going to pick up our next tactical bomber, we said, right? We want our construction technology. And I think I probably want to start on probably our land doctrine. And I think, like, this case, probably I think we just go superior firepower. Again, it's a bit boring. I mean, the other option, like mobile warfare, if we do decide to use tanks eventually, it'd be nice. We're going to get a lot of organization for, like, holding on. And then if we needed to, and things start going south, then you can pick desperate defense. And hopefully we don't have manpower problems. I don't think we will. So, like, I think I'm just going to go with superior firepower. Like I said, that's usually just like a good default doctrine. Like I haven't done this build before. This is like just doing it live, and you're never going to be disappointed with superior firepower. So like we'll go with that. I don't want to build any fighter ones, so I think I'll pass on the fighter ones for now. Stack of civs coming along nicely. I really hope I don't forget to build these soil storage. That'd be very unfortunate. But I mean, getting the civs first will your con will be online faster. We're gonna probably need a lot of oil storage, so we'd be losing like a lot of civilian factory construction time as opposed to France where we just did like 6 and it wasn't as much. And I forgot to unpause the game, but we'll do that now. All right, so we've got. And as soon as I say that, of course, we get our 5 naval experience. We're going to go over to our carrier. And where's our Republic class? Let's go duplicate this. I don't know, call us 60 deck. We're going to have 60 planes. Hangar space. Oh, it's 6? Are you kidding me? Oh, that's brutal. So I'll unpause this for a bit. We'll get to 6. Come on. Alright, there we go. I thought all the stuff was supposed to be 5, but like maybe I'm just getting that confused with division templates. So okay, we'll save this template for 60 deck. And then we're going to go to our Navy that we got over here. And let's say 2 of these boys. And we'll just like stick these into reserve. And then these guys over here, let's refit these guys to... Yeah, so it'll be a year to refit all these. But like, so it's probably worth it for the deck space, right? And then... yeah, we'll go down a bit. I want to get that refit done sooner rather than later. So like, we'll do this, and then this will be fine, and then these will go back on to those other things. So we'll do that. We'll do that for now. Then that'll help our carriers be like a little bit less useless in combat, hopefully. Do we want to send our spy out anywhere? Build an intel network, maybe. Like, what would be useful to know? I mean, like, I don't know. I guess we can just go build an intel network in Germany. That's fine. Get some intelligence on them. Maybe like get some experience or something. And we don't really need counterintelligence at this point of the game, anyways. And if he gets himself killed, we'll have like time to replace him. Fighter research. Good attack in Siam. White Sun over China. Again, that's like that novel adventure. I think it's like, who got the coup d'etat here in Siam? Is that like the Iron Marshal? No. Like again, so I guess Siam this patch too got like, they gave it like some balance nerf or something like that, and like some guy on Reddit was complaining that like this was like, he was upset this was like negative 5% consumer goods, and you could like stack all these bonuses together, but I mean like, negative 10% consumer goods, like even like negative 20% consumer goods on like a 10 factory economy is like 2 factories. It's like not a big deal until like you've already completed your campaign, you've like conquered all this stuff. It's like I'm not sure why this guy was so upset about it, but I guess the devs agreed with him. Let's see, France proposes international avant-garde. Count us in. So you know what? We got our art show or whatever, and now we're gonna get more political power. So that's great for us. We will definitely take that. Yeah. Right, and like at the same time that they're nerfing Siam because like this is like overpowered in the focus tree that they're getting these national spirits, they decide to give the fucking Russians a 4th research slot, right? Because like the Russians were underpowered, right? Like Siam is like your sleeper overpowered powerhouse, but the Russians are of course underpowered. They really needed that 4th research slot. Their focus over here that gives them 1943 heavy tanks in 1940. That's this wasn't good enough, right? They needed a 4th research slot so they can also do air as well as their ahead of time tanks. So, I don't know. That was another one that kind of struck me as like a little bit odd. Like, why nerf Siam and then go over to Russia, which already is like in an extremely strong position right now, and give them a free research slot? Alright, got that. And let's pick up our bonus here first just so that we have it. And something should be like, so our next research slot, like again, like I probably could align these up better, but like our next research slot is going to be on the fighter, and then the one after that will be on the attack bomber twos. Well, so again, I also don't play multiplayer though, so I don't know. Maybe Siam was like some stupid overpowered powerhouse in Kaiserreich tournament weekend or something. I guess when my commenter said that's the thing, and they needed that nerf, and Russia maybe was underpowered. But from my perspective, when you play these things single player, it's like you look at Russia, and you're like, man, Russia can just like wait until like mid 1940 to attack Germany and just like steamroll them with like a stack of 12 1943 heavy tanks, and it's like why did they need to be stronger? But Siam is too strong, so I don't know. That just seems weird to me. I'm sure not a whole lot of you viewers care about that. Alright, we're close to our factory, so that's nice. We're going to get the extra construction speed buff. Alright, got the war in Arabia. Alright, let's go pick up our Marconi Syndicate. There we go. It's a nice one to have. And yeah, I want to do common land. And we'll go down our industry focuses. So this will go on to industry 2, and then we'll have both of these techs cleared by the time we get our... yeah, this will be great actually. So we'll do that. We'll be able to get ahead of time. So that's going to be beautiful. And yeah, again, they're still picking up that cruiser. So I just... yeah, that's fine. It's not a big deal. Okay. And did I finish? I finished my tank though, didn't I? Oh, it caught me. It caught me. That stupid measureless class. I thought it was a cruiser. I was wrong. I'm just gonna switch this over to like. Why? It's the same ship. Okay, so we'll make this one, and then we'll just do this. We'll make a new line. Measureless cruiser hulls that aren't out of date, just so I can clear that stupid icon. Listen, I'll just dismiss it. Yeah, like that. I don't know. We'll check back later and see if that's actually causing a problem with the way that's arranged. Yeah, so we'll have our light tank to use. And like another thing you could do too is like if you have like a whole bunch of light tanks in storage like we do here, so you can go and you can pick up. Because another cheap research is like the light self-propelled gun too, and then you can convert your light self-propelled your light tank ones into SPG 2s to get better stats. That's really good if you have dispersed industry. Like I was considering doing like a heavy tank strategy because we got the one research bonus. So we got Union. No, Belgium was joining the Reichspakt, and I think over here, what do we see? They're just Orthodox syndicalists again. So they decided not to go with the anarchist theme that me and France were preparing. So it's you know, you showed up to the party, you thought it was a costume party, and you know, turns out it wasn't. So now you look silly, don't you, Italy? Navy. It's kind of like I have like a recording panel over here, and it sort of blocks, like it's right where that British theater thing is, which is like pretty annoying actually, because like when you're trying to select things, but you can't because like your recording bar is in the way. We'll have these guys just like repair. Probably some of them are probably a little bit broken from training. Pick that up. Or wait, no, this is a mistake. I was supposed to get fighter. Fighter, yes. Then our construction 2 will flip over to the industry 2. That's what we're doing. And this one over here is going to be your next attack bomber. So we'll see if like the ahead of time air strategy works for us. That's almost a mistake there, guys. Should have reminded me. How many divisions we have right now? We're at 23 divisions. We got one more, and then probably want to start. Alright, Philistine assistance. Okay, political power. I thought we used to get like a construction tech bonus from this. That might have been a little bit excessive though, so I could see why that might have been nerfed. Train a few more guys. And I think probably want to grab like, we need 2 of these guys to like be our volunteer tanks. So we'll like split these guys out over here, and we'll swap them over to our armor division template. So we have those available. And then I don't know. Maybe I'll just grab some of these guys over here, and we'll have you guys train Just so we can start building up like a little. Well, no, that's not a good idea. I don't want to pay the equipment cost for that for Army experience. It's these guys just have to get it, and we'll have to upgrade them when they're in the field. Common land. It's 35 days. I got the next plane. Did I screw that up? So this is coming off, and this is going to be... Alright, so we're going to have to use our doctrine to go and research our industry tech so we keep our bonus alive. That's fine. And then we're going to start picking our plane manufacturer. I guess we're only going to be able to get one or the other. I think it's probably more important to get it on the fighter. Okay, so this we go with our concentrated 2. Democratic left victorious in Brazil. In the end, capitalism cannot be changed. It is a fool's errand. So I guess who do they elect here? Probably like, yep, they're suck dem. So there you go. Not real socialists. I mean, we were playing the Germans last time and we were suck dem, so, you know, definitely not real socialists. It's a good thing we're building motorized too, because we're a little bit behind on that oil question. So this is our revolutionary synthetic oil event that we're going to get over here. It's going to help us out with our refineries and whatnot. Oh, I get construction bonus right there. Okay, that's good. So what to do here? So like our next one that we're coming up on is 2x industry or 2x research bonus for industry. So like we probably want to get some factories instead. So let's just go get our civies here. So we got a bonus for concentrated and a bonus for construction already coming up. This is gonna be a little bit boring researching to watch because we're gonna be like ahead of time on like all 4 of these slots. So like we'll be busy researching stuff for like a while. You know, but it's always good to get like your construction out of the way first. So we actually built all of those civs already. I better start actually just like, you know, queuing up some mills here in some of these slots just to make sure we don't run out. I don't slot myself. I think that'll be enough. And maybe a bit more. How many is that? It's 5, 11, 13, and 13 and 6 for like 19. Let's go 20. It's not a whole lot of mills. Build a few more civs. So like we will be getting like our slots for like the max factories and the states boost, so we will get more building slots. So, and probably all the extra building slots we get, we're going to want to use for military factories. So then, yeah. Your next construction tech. Left Kuomintang has capitulated. So it looks like the On-King are... Again, that fight doesn't really matter too much for us. So Serbia has crowned King Alexander II. So like again in this update, like I've heard they did some like quite a nice update rework over here on the Serbs and the Romanians. Like this is the Balkans has been reworked quite a bit. So I haven't played that yet, but you know, maybe we'll see what happens over there. So FOP wants manpower. Sure, I mean, I'll help them out. And fighter company, we'll get our I think Supermarine. Yeah, this is a better one. And like if we're really cheeky, like what we can do is like, because we started the tactical bomber, like it's only a few days later, so we could like we get the Supermarine Spitfire, And then before this research, just flip our company over and get a tactical bomber benefit, which I think probably is what we want to do if we have like enough political power for that. Or more factories. Here goes. Armenia's joined the Belgrade Pact. Alright, so that's going. So I think I'm going to end this part now, just because like, we're getting kind of close to the recording limit. But I'm going to keep going after this, and I'll probably try and get like another part out tonight. So here we go. Belgrade Pact has formed. And there's a standoff in America, so we'll be doing some volunteer action soon. Alright, I will see you guys next time.